Alright, welcome to the channel, and today we're just going to do a chill hangout, kind of in some sweats and hanging out with the community. I'm going to be listening to all the recommendations that I asked for from the first video that I asked for, which was about 21 songs, roughly 22 songs, and I have them in a playlist on Qobuz, but I also will have them on Spotify playlist, and I'll post the links down below. I think there's like one track that didn't make it in on the Qobuz side because I couldn't find it on Qobuz, but it will be on the Spotify side. I will be listening today off of the Spring 3, and I'm actually using my Phonitor XE, and I'll be using these, which was handed over to me by Alex Rosin from Rosin Audios. These are Rad Zeros, and I picked these up at CanJam for a demo, and I'll be doing a video on these down the road. Oh man, just beautiful. Love his work, man. Art. Anyhow, getting into it, I'll also be sipping some lovely tea. So starting off, the first track, and I did this by like I pulled them from the first comment to last comment. So, and starting off is Steven Wilson, Pariah, and Chef Steve recommended this. So let's dive into this one. Alright, so that track is, once again, that's Steven Wilson, Pariah, and it has a, let's see here, let's find out who the female artist is. Navarette. Navarette is the female artist, and she comes in about halfway through and singing. It has a nice kind of female, but almost like a raspy voice, and sounds really, really nice. It's actually really nice track, kind of a chill, like the guitar, and it actually has a little bit of bass there in the middle too. That's a nice little hit there. But it's a real mellow, nice vocal forward track with the guitar, I'd say, is the thing that stood out the most, and his and her vocals. And that was, yeah, it's a lovely track. Thanks, Chef Steve. So on to the next track, which is A Craze, Do It, Do It. And this was Louis. Thank you. This is from you, Louis. I'm going to butcher your your screen name, Louis Navarette. So let's go into A Craze, Do It, Do It. Okay, so with this one, and I'm also, just as a heads up, I am kind of scrubbing through a little bit just so this video isn't an hour plus long, and I'll also be kind of fast forwarding as I'm listening. I'll do the little speed up type deal. But so this one, A Craze, Do It, Do It, kind of upbeat, very clubby kind of sound, very bass forward. It has a nice little loop there for the track. Yeah, fun, very bassy, and very kind of like if you're working out or if you're going for a run or just want to kind of get something more upbeat and kind of get a little more motivated, maybe I would say this is a good track for that. And it's just fun, and if you like bass as well, yeah, fantastic. So Louis, thank you for that one. And into the next one is Duke Pearson. And so this actually was recommended as a full album, but I picked one track from it, and I picked Jingle Bells. And this whole album is actually kind of Duke Pearson's take on Christmas carols or Christmas songs. So kind of not the right time frame, but it's still, like, honestly, the whole album is rather nice, and I do recommend at least going through and listening to it, because it's not like it's not overly Christmassy if you're listening to it, and unless someone told you that it was Jingle Bells or someone told you that it was, you know, whatever these songs are. It's a nice take. It's a nice kind of take on these Christmas classics, I guess. And this was Astor, I'm gonna butcher your name, Bezier, and yeah, I really dug on this. So when I was listening to it, when I was adding these to the playlist, but I don't listen to a couple of the tracks, but most of them where I was just like, oof, really cool. So this one's Jingle Bells, Duke Pearson, and their take on Jingle Bells, and it's all right. Like, seriously, it's a fantastic track and just album. I really dug on it. It's a jazz blues type deal. It's fantastic. It just put a smile on my face, and it's one of those things that I could listen to any time of year. It doesn't matter that it's a take on Christmas carols or Christmas songs or Christmas tracks, but it's really good, and I highly recommend giving it a listen and check out, especially if you like jazz and what have you. Yeah, so thank you, Aster, and on to the next track, and we'll go dive into that. And this one is Bruno Mars, "Smoking Out the Window," and I believe this also has, so Anderson .Paak is the other person singing on this track. So let's dive into "Smoking Out the Window" with Bruno Mars, and this one was recommended by AJ. So thank you, AJ. Let's dive into it. All right. So one thing that Bruno Mars has that's always been really good is their mastering and their engineering of the tracks is just really well. And he's got a really great voice. So does Anderson .Paak. And it's very funky, very fresh, very kind of mix of funk and, I don't know, some like almost R&B, kind of soul R&B a little bit there. And it's a fun track. It's very nice, easy to listen to. Yeah, fun. I dig on the vocals. The overall music was really good, and it's, you know, hit or miss for some people. I know some people might not like Bruno Mars. I think he's a fantastic singer, and yeah, that's a fun track. So check it out. And on to and once again, thank you, AJ, for that. And this one is Maximum, the Hormone, and this one is the one that isn't on Qobuz. Maximum, the Hormone, Kuso, Breaking, No Breaking Lily. Sent out by, recommended by Cheese's Price. Cheese's Price. Reminds me of what I say instead of to my daughter, instead of her swearing. We get her to say cheese and rice instead of I think what you're trying to go there with that one. So let's dive into it. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to listen off the speakers, so I'm gonna have to go that route with it. Okay, so Maximum, the Hormone, Kuso, Breaking, No Breaking Lily, and Cheese's Price. That's actually pretty cool. It's like a Japanese punk rock or rock kind of track. I liked it. I dug on it, actually. It's a fun track, and I enjoyed it. The next one will be Steven Wilson, King Ghost. So Steven Wilson, King Ghost, recommended by Joffrey Kelly. So let's get these headphones back on, and let's dive into this one. So King Ghost, Steven Wilson. Alright, so Steven Wilson, King Ghost. This is a bassy track, and it was really fun. But then it's weird because it's like the bass is put like very forward, but then his vocals are kind of mellow, and it has almost like an ephemeral kind of signature to it, like kind of feel to it. But it still has that punchy bass. It's a fun track. I can dig on it. It's kind of like more of like a late night kind of chill track, I guess. But the bass does make you feel, kind of get your blood pumping a little bit. But it's still, to me, even with that bass, more of a chilled kind of evening track, maybe, potentially. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for that one. And the next one we will be going into is Tears for Fears, Break the Man. And this one was by Twingwin. Thank you, Twingwin, for the recommendations. Jump into that one. Alright, Tears for Fears, Break the Man. This one had like a nice, it was funny because it has a very upbeat, kind of fast-paced, and then the way they're singing and everything is really nice. Really like their vocals, and it has a lot going on. There's a lot in the track going on. And so you can really pick it apart if you really wanted to. It feels upbeat in the music, but then I think the actual lyrics and like what they're actually talking about is not the most upbeat thing. But I could be wrong, because I was, like I said, scrubbing through a little bit just so we can get through it. But I like this track, so this is a fun one. I'm going to have to revisit it and listen to the lyrics a little bit closer to get a better feel of what they're trying to say. Because that was pretty cool. I dig on that one. Thank you, Twingwin. And on to the next track, which will be The Weeknd, Sacrifice. Or recommended by Aditya Bhatt. So thank you for the recommendation. And The Weeknd's a fantastic artist. Really dig on his stuff. So let's dive into it. Ooh, yeah, so that's another funky it kind of reminds me of almost like a little bit of like the Michael Jackson era kind of like speed to the music, that kind of feel to it, and then his vocals are very reminiscent of that. I dug it. I actually really dug that one. That one was fun. I really like that whole album is really, really great. So definitely worth checking out, that whole album. But that was a fun track. I dig on that one a lot. Like funky, lots of nice, really well mastered. His vocals are excellent. So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll jump on the next one so we can keep going, because I don't think we're very far yet. So Junior Choi, To the Moon is the next track, and this one was sent out by, or recommended, I keep saying sent out, but recommended in the comments by me. So thank you for the recommendation, and let's listen to this. And this one I have not listened to yet as well, so let's jump in and see what it's all about. Alright, Junior Choi, To the Moon. Was not ready for the bass drop. That was cool. It's very, kind of reminds me of like a hip-hop track to some level, but also has like a nice dance beat to it. Yeah, that was fun. That was real fun. I could see that being a fun track to, once again, kind of like a more upbeat, more kind of maybe like a workout or kind of going on a walk, be a little more upbeat. That one's definitely dug it. So thank you for that. And we'll jump into the next track, which will be... And this is a game soundtrack, so if you don't play games, I think this is like a free-to-play game that came out. It's a while back. It was all the rage for a while. I think it's still fairly popular, actually. And this one's Genshin Impact La Signora Boss track, I think. And this one was recommended by Rince. Hopefully I'm saying it Rence, Rince, or Root, yeah. So hopefully that's correct. I didn't butcher that screen name. But let's dive into this one. And this one should be pretty interesting. These are usually pretty cool soundtracks. So let's get to it. So I have a soft spot for piano music, and this was an all piano track. It sounded like that was cool. I really dug on it. You can kind of hear the way that I'm assuming if you were playing the game, the boss battle would kind of progress, and you get the intense piano strikes and like the brighter to the deeper notes. And yeah, that was fun. I really dug on that. Fantastic. That was really cool. Dug on that, actually. And that was the first time hearing that. So yeah, thank you, Rince. And on to the next track will be Mild Orange, Down by the River, and Only Me recommended this one, so let's jump into this one now. So once again, this is the artist Mild Orange, track Down by the River, and let's go. Alright, that one was cool. I dug. So I'm a big fan of this kind of, I guess it's alternative, kind of an alternative track, alternative music. And the guitar and his vocals and just the way that the drums come in as well I really dug on that. I could easily see myself kind of sipping some whiskey and chilling out at night and relaxing to that. Yeah, thank you very much for that recommendation. I'm gonna be definitely revisiting that. Unless otherwise stated, these are the first time I've heard most of these tracks. So I'll let you know if I've heard them before, if it's something as I was going through, I was checking it out. But all of this is more or less a fresh take, unless I say otherwise. Let's move on to the next one, which would be Becca Stevens, Feels Like This. So the Becca Stevens is the artist, and Becca Stevens is the artist, and the track is Feels Like This. And this one was a recommendation from Javier Martins. So let's jump into that one. Whew, alright, so that really dug her vocals, really kind of dug the way that they layered in the bass, and then kind of like the more higher notes, and the way it just kind of progressively gets towards the middle. I think it started to get more upbeat a little bit with the music speed and what have you. And yeah, I can dig on that. I'm gonna have to definitely come back and revisit that and listen to that some more. That was fun. Thank you. And so off to the next one. So the next track will be Bewhy, Bewhy, and the track is Celebration, and this is a funk track, and I have not heard this one yet either, and this one is from Jeff Q as a recommendation. So let's dive into this one and see what it's all about. I like funk, so it should be good. Whew. All right, very fun. And then I'm a big, also another thing, I don't know if it's known or not, but I do like brass. A lot of brass is something that I'm a big fan of, and so I probably caught it, but I was like, whoo, wasn't ready for the brass to kick in. I wasn't expecting it, and that was really cool. I really dug that. I like brass and I like funk, so usually those go hand in hand. Thank you very much for that recommendation. So on to the next one, and this is a classic, and I've definitively heard this before, and it's a classic. So this one is Santana Smooth with Rob Thomas. So let's dive into that. So, like I said, this is a classic. If you haven't heard this track, it's definitely worth checking out. Santana guitar, like spot on. Rob Thomas's voice is really good. Definitely a fun one to listen to, and it's a classic. Definitely something you need to hear at least once. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation, and it's good to kind of go visit. I haven't actually heard this track in a very long time, so it's kind of brought some good memories back from being younger. Recommendation for that track was, I'm going to butcher your screen name, I am sorry, Aradia Mohaptra. So, yeah, thank you for that recommendation, and on to the next one, which is Ariana Grande, Get Well Soon, and this one was recommended by, I'm going to probably butcher all these screen names, so forgive me, but this is Thales Katau. Thales Katau? Anyways, thank you for the recommendation, and I have not heard this track yet, so I will give it a go, and let's roll. Alright, wow, she does have a great voice, but yeah, this one was fun. I like her voice, it's really nice, and another one I could see maybe, I don't know if it would be upbeat enough to be something I'd work out to or anything like that, but it's definitely something I could see listening to and kind of just chilling and listening to tracks. So, very cool. Thank you for that recommendation. And on to the next one. And this one will be Lil Nas X, Industry Baby. And this one was recommended by Anime and Lifting. So, alright, let's jump into this one. And I have not heard this yet. Dive right into it. Alright, so yeah, I like that one actually. That was fun. I could definitely see working out with that and or kind of getting ready to go, I don't know, get excited to go do something, I guess. That's a good one to have. And it's yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed that. I liked the trumpets in the beginning as well. That was really cool. And just the way they layered in all those different parts to it, it was nice. I dug on that actually. So yeah, thank you for the recommendation. And on to the next one. And this one is Modest Mouse is the artist, and this is We Are Between. So Modest Mouse artist, We Are Between the track, and this was a recommendation by AJ Audio. So thank you for the recommendation, and we will jump right into this one. Okay, that was a fun track. It was very fast and lots of guitar, and it has the definitive Modest Mouse vocals. Like, he just has a very unique way he sings. So I'm a big fan of Modest Mouse. And this is the first time hearing this track. I'm gonna have to go revisit and check out this album because I think it's one of their newer albums, and I don't think I've heard it. So I'm gonna have to go through and check out the whole album. So thank you for that recommendation. This one was, to me, like with this combo, I'm using my monitor, so it can be a little bit on the neutral bright side, and it definitely, with some of the guitars, was getting a little bit on the bright with the rads, which was interesting, but overall, like, I dug it. So yeah, very cool. And on to the next one, which I think is also a AJ Audio recommendation, which is Moby, Lift Me Up. On to Moby, Lift Me Up, and then after this we only have 3 more tracks, and I'll let you guys get back to it. But yeah, Moby, Lift Me Up. Here we go. Ooh, that was cool. So in my head I had Moby from like younger year Moby, and this was not that. Like, this was very orchestral, and I believe it was a cello in the beginning that just had that nice deep kind of string and bow kind of sound, and it was just, oh, that was really cool. It has to be like the orchestra as it comes in and just slowly layers in the different, instruments, and kind of brings it up and kind of makes it more exuberant, filling. I don't know. That was cool. I dug on that. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this, and also go check out that whole album, because that was really cool. I really dug on that. It reminded me of like the Beastie Boys when they did the jazz album or something like that, where it's like a complete divergence from what their norm is. So that was, or for what my expectation of their norm was or is. So that was cool. Thank you for that recommendation. And on to another classic that everyone's probably heard, but this one is Daft Punk, Doing It Right. And this one was recommended by Gaetan DeLee. Sorry, butchering names, screen names. But this one's classic. This is a fantastic track. So I'll jump into that one, and we'll see how it goes. Ooh, okay, so this one is just so well mastered. It just sounds so good. I need to go back and listen to my Daft Punk albums. So yeah, thank you for that recommendation. And down to the last 2, and these ones are interesting. And this next one, it's funny because Neil X. So he recommended this, and it was funny because right around the same time that you recommended it, someone else had posted something on Instagram and was using Teddyswim's track 911, and I had been listening to that track like over and over a bunch, like in that same time frame that you recommended this, which is hilarious. And so I actually kind of discovered Teddyswim's through you and this other post that I saw, and I've been really digging this guy's kind of overall sound signature. Super fun. So one of my favorite tracks from this album is the 911 track, but this one will be Teddyswim's Simple Things, and this was recommended by Neil X, and new artist for me that I'm really digging on. So let's dig into this, Teddyswim's Simple Things, and let's hit play. Okay, so for this one, like the genre that he is, I mean, I think they listed as pop on Qobuz, but like it's a mix of almost R&B, hip hop, and country a little bit. Like he almost has like a country twang to his voice to some level, and a little bit of jazz, blues. It's very mashup of genres. And the guy, like you hear him sing, and then like I recommend going and checking out a music video. Like, not what you expect. He's got some vocals though, man. This I really dig on his track, the way that they mash in those genres into his music. So big fan of this one. It was really cool. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation. And on to the final one, which this one is interesting because I've actually heard a bunch of this stuff from this artist, both from playing a specific video game on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the Ghost of Tsushima video game, and also from watching Marco Polo. So Marco Polo, I think is what it was. Yeah, and that I think they have a bunch of this artist, which is the Who, which HU, and they do a lot of Mongol throat singing, and so it's really intense and really cool, and it's like a metal mixed in usually. Let's dive into the Who, The Great Chinggis Khan. So yeah, should be fun. Alright, so that was the last track for this kind of first recommendation. I still have one more video. I have to go through all the comments and pull all the tracks, and that'll be the part 2 or what have you. But anyways, back to this, the Who, or Hugh, or I'm probably butchering that, but God, epic. It's just epic. Like the whole thing is it's a metal ballad, epic metal ballad, and the way that they do the throat singing, dude, it's cool. Like it's one of those things it tells a story, even if you don't know what they're saying or what have you. You can like just close your eyes, listen, and you can kind of imagine like some kind kind of epic story unfolding as you're listening, and it's really marvelous. So that was cool. Excuse me. So thank you for that recommendation, which was Skybike KZ. With that, I think, let me know if you guys think this is a fun way of doing it. This was maybe too many tracks probably to go over in one sitting, but I'll kind of fine tune this moving forward and see how it goes. And this will be Spotify and Qobuz. I'll put both playlists down below. And yeah, let me know what you think, if this is something worth doing in the future, or I should just put out a playlist and do a quick, just maintain a playlist of all the recommendations, or if I should go over the tracks, or maybe cut it up a little bit more and do more in depth on each track instead of a kind of light overview first listen type of thing. Let me know what you think. Actually, real quick, I will also, just as since I'm using this as a vlog to some level, I have this coming up in the near future. I have a pair of IEMs. I have, what else? Oh, the Puffin. It's a phono pre, and it does a lot of other stuff, and it's really cool. So I'm looking forward to doing that video on that, but I need to really dive into it and figure it out before I kind of give a video on it. But anyways, so the Puffin Rad Zeros, I have these IEMs that I have received. I need to kind of go over as well, and they kind of have like a crazy anime girl on it and all that stuff on the packaging. So that'll be interesting to unbox. I also have some stuff that's coming up next week that I'm really excited for, and I'm going to be doing a live stream with ZMF. So Zach and hopefully Bevan. That will be, I think, somewhere around the 19th or 20th, as I'll be doing a live stream with them. So keep an eye out for that, and that should be pretty much my plans for the next couple weeks. So and maybe I'll do some other live streams and some other random things here and there. But yeah, so trying to get back into the swing of making videos and putting them out. So cheers and thank you, and I'll catch you all next one.